right, let's get started. Good morning. I hope you all had an excellent weekend and enjoyed the great weather. Today is our fourth and final day for the survey interview presentation. So we have three pairs that we'll work through. As always, if you are not giving an interview today, I'll ask that you complete the attendance prompt. If you are giving an interview today, 6 to 8 minutes, I will let you know when you have 4 minutes remaining, 3, 2, 1, and when you're at the 8-minute time. If you have already given an interview, your grades and a paragraph of feedback on those interviews have already been posted for you. And again, all of the interview analysis essays have also been graded. So your grades in the course should be current. So let me know if you have any questions or issues with those. Later today, after today's class, I will be posting the presentation schedule for our next interviews, the employment interviews. The schedule for those will be shuffled so that if you presented early this time, you'll be presenting later for that one and vice versa. And the interview partnership will also be shuffled around so that you have the chance to work with somebody new on that one. And after today's class, we'll take some time on Wednesday and Friday to discuss the employment interviews, ways to prepare, ways to do those effectively. So this will give you the chance to have just about a couple weeks to prepare, to think about, and to develop those next interviews that we'll be dedicating a lot of time this week toward covering. So look forward to that. I think those are a lot of fun and also incredibly useful as we think about applying for jobs, internships, and other positions. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So we have our first pair today. You're welcome to come up, adjust the seating as you see fit, and we can get rolling. Okay.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. I'm Kate Jones, and I'm here on behalf of Eastern Oregon University. We are here today to gain an understanding of your experience here at EOU, and your answers will be shared with the president and administration. Do you have any questions before we begin?
I do.
Perfect. So how did you hear about Eastern Oregon University?
My coach actually reached out to me, and that's how I heard about it. But yeah.
Perfect. And what year are you in school?
I am a senior.
Have you been here all 4 years? What are you majoring in?
Business administration.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being easy and 10 being incredibly hard, how would you rate your difficulty of your classes in your major?
I'd say a 5.
Any reason why?
I say probably because I've had a couple hard classes and then a couple easy, but most of them are pretty manageable.
Wonderful. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you hate it and 10 being it's the best thing, how would you rate your experience with the faculty?
Probably an 8.
Would you give more information about why you rated it that way?
I've had a couple professors that I haven't gotten along with very well, but mostly I've had good experiences.
And what reasons did you have when you chose Eastern Oregon University other than recruitment?
Mostly athletics. I didn't really want to go to a small school, but I liked the athletic program here. So,
considering that you've had all 4 years here, how has your perspective changed from when you were a freshman?
I'd say I'm a lot more open-minded with the small town. When I first came in, I needed to get here just because I wanted like the big college experience, but now it's like growing on me and the people are growing on me.
Mm-hmm. How has being an EOU student helped you grow as a person?
I'd say it's definitely helped me with like time management. Like being a student athlete, I have to manage my schoolwork and like practice.
So speaking of you being a student athlete and being recruited here for sports, what sports team or teams are you on?
I am on the volleyball team.
And how is being a member of these teams having your experience?
And it's helped me meet more people. It's made it easier to socialize. And I've met like some of my lifelong friends here.
How frequently do you find yourself at social events that you puts on?
I mostly just go to like the athletic events. I'd like to go to more of like the other EOU events, but I feel like I don't really care about them. Very often.
So why do you go to the athletic events?
I just enjoy watching sports.
Do you get like a sense of community from being in the stands with people supporting? something
Yeah.
you like?
Yeah.
Is there anything we could do to help promote some of the activities that you haven't heard a lot and into attendance, particularly within the athletics program?
With athletics, my freshman year, we had like athletes for athletes, so like all the athletic teams had to go to like certain games. So that would be cool if we brought that back. I don't really know about the other activities.
To go along with that, are there any events that you'd like to see in the future?
Like,
Nothing to like help the volleyball team get out there with track.
no,
All right. And what has made you decide to stay here, especially if you didn't even want to go to a small school to begin with?
again, like the athletic program has definitely helped me, and like the people I've met here have made it a lot easier to stay here.
So the athletics is really looking to stay.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
maybe come, but maybe stay. So to finish up, is there anything else that you'd like to add about your experiences, expectations, anything about the young at all?
I don't think so.
Perfect. Thank you so much for participating. And again, the information that I gathered will be shared with the president and administration to help get insights on students' experiences here at EOU. Do you have any remaining questions about the interview? Perfect. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And feel free to switch whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi, my name is Shelby Williams, and I am here for Eastern Oregon University. Thank you for joining me today for this survey interview. The purpose of this interview is for our president and administration to gain insight on your experiences here at Eastern Oregon University. This interview is being recorded, and the information will be shared with the president and administration. Are you okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you have any questions before we start?
I do not.
Okay. To start off, what's your name?
My name is Kate Jones
And where are you from?
from Missoula, Montana.
How long have you been attending EOU?
This is my second year.
Okay. What brought you here?
I wanted to get away from my family. My mother told me I could go a maximum of an 8-hour drive away, and I pushed that to the max. And I wanted to be as independent as possible. I also really love the small campus and class sizes. I don't just feel like I'm a face in the crowd.
Are you currently on any sports teams?
I am. I'm cheering the
How would you rate your experience of being on the EOU cheering dance team from a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest?
I would say about a 4. There's always going to be some drama in anything you're in.
Would you recommend someone coming to EOU for cheer and dance?
Not just for cheer and dance, because it's currently a club and not a sport, so we're not competitive at the moment.
Do you find it difficult being a student athlete? Do you ever find like it being too much?
I don't, because my coach is so understanding and supportive, and she really does put academics above athletics.
Do you feel like EOU does a good job of supporting the EOU cheer and dance program?
I don't believe so. We don't get a lot of recognition because, again, we're a club and not a sport, but we're there at like all basketball games and all football games. Yeah.
What are you currently majoring in?
I am double majoring in English writing.
And what do you plan on doing with your degree?
I am hoping to get into a publishing business, gain connections and experiences, and then hopefully write and publish my own book one day.
Are you currently living on or off campus?
I'm off campus in the Houston apartment.
Did you live on campus as a freshman?
I did, yes.
How would you rate your experience living on campus? Scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest.
It was a 3. It was like average. There was nothing particularly spectacular or harmful.
Do you feel like there are enough academic resources to help you succeed here?
I do, and I absolutely adore the writing Writing Center, even as like a self-proclaimed skilled writer, the tutors here are absolutely phenomenal and always going to help.
Do you like the campus at UAU? Do you think it's too big or too small?
I personally love it, but I understand if someone does just want to like, it's not a place for them.
Are you currently or have you previously been a part of any other clubs from besides like the cheering dancing?
No, just
Would you like to be in any clubs? Or?
not that I'm aware of currently, but I'm always looking for something to spend time doing.
Yes. Do you attend a lot of the activities that EOU puts on?
I don't. I'm very much a homebody and I like to make sure I can.
Do you think you have grown as a person from attending EOU?
I do. I've been through like a lot these past 2 years. And I think I've really achieved.
What has made you stay here at Eastern?
I feel like I have a good support system. I don't want to start all over with a brand new environment. And I absolutely love the professors here.
Do you feel like there are any improvements that need to be made at EOU?
I mean, as with all colleges, the cost.
Yeah.
But I honestly would also love for the cheer and dance team to get more recognition and money.
Thank you for participating in this interview. Before we end, is there anything you'd like to have add, or do you have any questions for me?
I do not.
Okay. As a last reminder, this information will be shared with the president and administration so that they can gain insight on student experiences. Thank you again for participating, and I hope the best for you and the rest of your time at Eastern.
So, we will now hear from our second partnership.
Hello, Brock. My name is Malcolm Spurrier. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for participating in this interview. Your engagement will be very beneficial for our school. The purpose of this interview is to gather information about your time here at UNU. This information will be shared with administration and the president of UNU. Is that okay? Yep. Before we get started, do you have any questions for me? No. Okay, just to get it started off, what year are you in school? How old are you?
I'm a sophomore at UAU. I'm 20 years old, and
Have you liked the major that you chose?
so far so good. Yeah, the teachers have been good. The class has been pretty easy so far.
Awesome. Do you live on or off campus?
I live off campus.
Have you ever lived on campus?
No, not here. My last one.
Do you participate in any extracurricular activities?
Yeah, I played baseball in school.
How has your baseball experience been?
It was kind of an interesting year this year. Didn't do very good. And we had a head coach get fired mid-season, so that was kind of tough as well. So people left during that. So it was kind of a tough year all around for the baseball team.
So how was your baseball experience at your prior college compared to you?
It was a lot more smooth, I guess you could say, a little more organized, but hopefully next year kind of shift gears here.
What position do you play?
I have a pitch.
And then do you think you'll be returning next season?
Most likely.
All right, so we're kind of shifting gears over here. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, how beneficial has the administration been?
I'd say 9. I've enjoyed my classes and kind of like whenever I've needed help, I've reached out to my teachers and they've been just quick to respond and really helpful in any way I need.
So you mentioned that it was a 9. So you kind of mentioned that they are doing great. Is there anything else that they can continue to do to keep doing good for you?
Not really. I would say just like, take advantage of campus and reach out to students if like something's coming up.
And then obviously, since you did not give it a 10, I mean that there was partial improvement. And what is something that you think they can improve on?
I would say just overall like communication, I guess, like when assignments are due, what are coming up, and things like that.
And then on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being all the time, how often do you use the library?
I'll say like a 2. I really only been there once. I usually like to do my like studying at home. I can listen to music, speaker, or something. Just like do my own thing.
So what is something that you think that the Learning Center or the library could do to get you attracted to want to go there?
They could probably like advertise it more. I guess I haven't really like heard much about people saying like, hey, come here if you want to get work done. So I guess like maybe like emails here and there if you want to get advertising that it's open to all students.
So do you have any previous college experience?
Yeah, I spent 1 year at a JUCO last year, playing baseball there in Kansas.
How was that compared to you?
It was actually smaller. That was a school of like 315 people. So I guess coming here was like a bigger change, but it's still considered a small school, I guess.
So after your 2 years there, what made you choose UAU?
So the coach reached out to me. They were saying they were building a new program, which was kind of cool. They were promising things like a new field, which that never happened, but it sounded good at the time. But I'm glad I came here either way.
Awesome. So overall, do you think that you've had a positive experience here at UAU?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've gotten along well with teammates, friends, and coaches so far. So I think it'd be a good so far.
What are a couple things you think of when you think of UAU?
I'll say a good community. I think everyone's pretty tight. Like, I think most sports get along well together. I see like other students going to other people's games, kind of supporting each other. So I'd say the community is really tight.
And then what would you recommend? Would you recommend UAU to others?
Yeah, I think if you're okay with going to a smaller school, it'd be a good fit for you. If you want to go to a big university, I'd probably check somewhere else. But I think it's a good school for most people.
And then, so playing baseball here, and you said it's something about your coach getting fired. Have you guys gotten a new coach?
Yeah, we got a new guy. He actually currently lives in the freshman dorms. So this whole situation has kind of been interesting, but he's been doing the most he can, and we're really appreciative of him.
And then reflecting on the season, what do you think could have done better?
I think overall, like kind of like everything, I think since the coach got fired and like that resulted in people leaving and then like commits not wanting to come here anymore. So it kind of just like went straight downhill. So I guess the good thing is we can only go from there.
Right, and then returning next season, do you think that you can, that there's a role that you can be in to be able to help out the team?
Yeah, I definitely think we can welcome the new guys with a better atmosphere and hopefully like keep I guess the whole atmosphere of the baseball.
Awesome. And then, that's about it that I have for you. That's all the questions I have. Thank you so much for your participation. You were awesome. All your answers were very beneficial to us, and UAU is very lucky to have you. Just a reminder that this information will be shared with UAU's president and administration. Do you have any last questions before we close up? No. Thank you again, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day.
Brad, whenever you're ready to switch, we'll do this round the other night.
All right, hello, I'm Brock Quarters. Today I'll be interviewing on the County Eastern University, and then we'll be sharing with the president and administration of the school. Is that all right with you? Yes. Sounds good. What is your name? Malachi Spurrier. Nice to meet you. So where are you from, Malachi? I'm from Yakima, Washington. Washington. Okay, so what brought you to Eastern Oregon University?
I had a coach that coached me in high school, and he kind of mentioned UAU and about like the football program. And I also had a friend that was here a year before me, and so kind of just made that decision a little easier for me.
When you committed here, was that friend still playing here as well?
Yes,
Okay. So football, what position do you play?
I play wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Do you ever wish you played on the defensive side of things?
No, I love catching the ball. Actually,
Fair enough. Quick recap on the last season. How do you think that went?
we had a pretty rough season last season. I mean, it kind of just some of the stuff didn't go well. Or we weren't all on the same page. But I think that we're definitely trying to pick it up this year. Just practicing already, we got a lot of talent and we'll be able to use it right away.
Yeah, you said you started practicing. How have those practices gone? Kind of towards the end of the school year, like with school going on right now, how well is it time hand in hand with school and practice?
I think that if you have good time management, you're able to get everything done at an efficient time. We have things such as study halls that we have every Tuesdays and Thursdays to be able to help us set aside time for assignments. And then practices are at 2 o'clock now, and they used to be at 4. So I mean, going at a little earlier gives you more time at night to get everything done. And I mean, it's just been pretty helpful for all of us.
For sure. Do you think the team is going to be improved a lot in last season, or do you think it's going to be the same level?
I think that will be improved. We just got a new offensive coordinator, and he has a lot of experience and a lot of he knows a lot about the game. And he's already started to make you feel good.
Okay. All right, last question about football. What's the biggest difference between high school football and college football for you?
I'd say the pace of the game is a lot faster.
Okay. All right, so when you committed here, how did your friends and family react?
My family was they're pretty supportive of it all. It's only a 2.5 hour drive away too, so it's like whenever I want to go home to see my family, it's not super far away. And then my friends were just happy for me to continue.
Right on. So after you committed, were you happy with your choice after a year?
I mean, I came here COVID year, and so it was kind of a different feeling when I was in the dorms. We couldn't really do much of it. I know you had a lot more to offer, but my freshman year we didn't get to really experience that. So after the first year, it kind of just felt like a high school as well.
Okay. So yeah, you said you're a coder. So what grade are you in now?
I'm a junior.
And have you spent all years here? Okay, so what major did you choose?
When I first came here, I chose computer science, and then after my first year, I chose business administration.
Was there like a big reason you switched majors?
So I had a business class my freshman year, and he was a really good professor. He was really engaged with the class, and it felt like there was a lot to do.
Okay, and throughout the professors you've had, on a scale of 1 to 10, how helpful have they been for you?
I would say probably like a solid 7, but they've been pretty helpful.
Is there things that they could have improved on while you were in the classes?
I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement with communication, and there's specific classes that had different softwares that we would use, and they didn't explain very well how to use it.
You live on or off campus?
I live off campus.
And would you prefer that?
Yeah, I prefer to live off campus.
So what is one thing you do and you not like?
Something that I do like is I like the engagement with the people in the classroom. You're able to know majority of people in the class, and the professors know you. So you kind of have that personal level rather than you're at your school. They don't really know you and you find them to talk to.
For sure. Using the facilities here, have you used like the library as like study time places?
I don't really use the library either.
So what are things you do like with Northern University for fun?
I usually just hang out with my roommates, play video games, or just hang out with my friends.
Okay, and kind of wrapping back, you said you were glad you came, or you're still here. Are you coming back for next season? Yes. Sounds good. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. Do you have any questions for me? We'll link to the end. Thank you.
All right, thank you both, and we will hear from our final.
Good morning, Blake. My name is Kayla Bergheim. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day for this survey interview. The purpose of this interview is to get feedback from students at UAU on how the administration can improve campus life. Due to the nature of this interview, it will be recorded and shared with the administration of UAU. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns before starting the interview?
No.
All right. Without further ado, I'd like to start this interview by getting to know you a little bit better. So where's your hometown?
My hometown is Pendleton, Oregon.
All right. Would you say that your hometown is more rural or urban?
That's a rural town.
Did that influence your decision from the beginning at all?
I would say so. Being close to home.
Yeah. Are you a first generation college student?
No.
Okay. Are you here on any kind of scholarship?
I am here on athletic and academic scholarship.
And then what initially drew you?
Well, I didn't come here right away. I went to Western Oregon for my first 3 years and transferred here due to the fact that I wanted to get to football.
Nice. All right. So how many years have you been attending UAU since transferring?
1 year.
Okay. And then what is your current class level at UAU?
I'm a senior.
Okay. You said you transferred in from Washington.
Western Oregon.
Western Oregon. how would you rate the experience at that previous college on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being very poor to 5 being very good?
I'll give it a 4. I had a really good time, met a lot of people, and really improved myself as an athlete and as a student.
Nice. Okay, what major are you pursuing here?
I'm a business major.
Are you pursuing a minor at all?
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna go into the management
Okay.
area of business.
Cool. What are your career goals?
At the moment, my career goals really involve football and kind of going into coaching. But if that doesn't work out, I am in the process of creating a few different businesses.
Do you feel that your time here at UAU has prepared you for success in this field?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you take more online classes or in person?
I think my schedule is pretty balanced.
Nice. Do you have a preference between the two?
I like in-person classes better. I just feel like I take more from it. Online classes, sometimes I feel like I'm teaching myself.
Yeah, I get that. What is your typical credit load per term?
16.
16. And do you feel that's manageable with your football schedule?
I would say so. I think that being organized with my time management and ensuring that I have certain times for each day to like block in the things that I need to do really helps me out.
Yeah. How would you rate your professors overall on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being very poor and 5 being very good?
I give them a 5.
And do you have any reason for that in particular?
I mean, I've gained a lot of knowledge from the professors here, like more so than my last college, and they've just helped me and opened my eyes to what I can do after college.
Nice, nice. Moving on from academics, have you utilized any of the campus or community resources during your time here?
Yes, I use the Learning Center every week. I use the library every week. Athletic resources, I use the training room every week, things like that.
Very nice. And then how did you hear about the resources that you used? Did you hear about them through football or?
Yeah, I would say my coach.
And then how would you rate your experience with these resources on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being very poor and 5 being very good?
I would say a solid 4, not a 5, because sometimes I have like difficulty getting in to the buildings on like after hours type things.
Okay, yeah. Have you lived on campus at all during your time here at UAU? So since you've lived off campus for all of your time here at UAU, how would you rate the ease of finding off-campus housing on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being very difficult and 5 being very easy?
My personal experience, I would say I'd give it a 2. I had a lot of difficulty finding a place to live when I first moved here. So yeah.
And then from what you've seen of the off-campus housing that's offered in LeGrand, what would you say about the quality of housing offered?
I'd say for college students that there are a lot of places in LeGrand that really suit our needs and give us an opportunity to have a comfortable area to live in.
And then how would you rate your experience in the off-campus housing on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being good?
Can give it a 5.
All right. Good. Okay, so as for dining here, have you dined at any of the on-campus dining?
I have. Yes.
Have you dined at Mountain Cafe more or Maxwell more?
I would say that I dined at Mountain Cafe more than Max, but I like Max far better.
Okay. If you could rate your experience at Mountain Cafe on a scale from 1 to 5 using the previous scale, how would you rate it?
2.
A 2. Why would you rate it a 2?
Pretty average food, I'd say.
Okay. And for Max Grill, how would you rate your experience there on the same scale, with 1 being poor and 5 being good?
6.
6. Oh, above 5. Oh. That's very good to hear. Yeah. How do you feel about the off-campus dining services provided?
In the grant,
So the different restaurants here.
I have a lot of favorite restaurants around here. I think there's a lot of good places to eat. I'd give it a 5.
Right. How do you spend your time when you're not in class?
When I'm not in class, I spend my time either at football practice and meetings. When it's not football, I'm snowboarding, golfing, things like that.
Have you had a job at all during your time here at UAU?
Yes, I worked at Domino's.
Oh, right. And then how satisfied were you with working for Domino's, with one being very poor, very unsatisfied, 5 being very satisfied?
Give it a 3.
And then, do you feel that participating in football has hindered your academic success at all?
I do not. I think that it has only increased my grades. Before I got here, I had pretty low average grades, and once I got here, Coach Camp and the football coaches really helped me get back on track.
Right. So as we begin to wrap up, are there any things about your experience at EOU that you would like to convey to the administration?
I don't believe so.
All right, as a reminder, this survey will be shared with the administration of EOU in order to make future improvements to the university. Your feedback has been very helpful in this process and is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time and participation in this interview.
Thank you.
Awesome. And we will now have our final interview of the day.
I'm Blake. The goal of this interview is to provide EOU president and administration with information on what it's like to be a student here at EOU. I'd like you to be aware before we get going that this interview is being recorded. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Awesome. What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Kayla Burheim and I'm originally from Kuna, Idaho.
Correct. What initially made you decide to attend EOU?
It's very close to my hometown. It's only a couple hours away. And my sister and dad also attended EOU before and spoke really well of the university. So, yeah,
Nice. Are you a recipient of any scholarship here at EOU?
yes, I am. I'm on academic scholarship.
Yes. Did you attend EOU directly at a high school or did you transfer from another community college or university?
I attended EOU right out of high school, but came in with transfer credits from the dual credit program at my high school.
What class level are you here at EOU?
I'm a senior.
What major are you pursuing here?
Health and human performance with a concentration in exercise science and pre-physical therapy pathway.
Have you taken both online and in-person classes here at EOU?
Yes, I have.
What would you say is easier for you to learn in?
For me, it's easier to learn in an on-campus type formatting, just because I can listen to the teacher and really bounce off of them, and just I'm more reciprocative of in-person classes.
How would you rate your in-person class experiences on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being 4 and 5 being great.
I'd say solid 5. I think my professors really put in the effort to make the material easy to grasp and make it engaging.
Awesome. What would you rate your online experiences on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being 4 and 5 being great.
I'd rate them a 3.
Do you participate in clubs or extracurricular activities or sports here at EOU?
So I am in the 45th Parallel Jazz Band, and I'm conducting research currently with the Exercise Science Department.
Very cool. Did you do band before you got to college?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Are you familiar with academic, recreational, and athletic resources that we have here at EOU?
Yes, I'm very familiar with the resources we have here.
Nice. Who is mainly informed you about the resources that we have?
I've mainly been informed about them through my work with Residence Life. I'm an RA on campus here, so.
Okay. Have these resources been beneficial to you as an EOU student?
I haven't used them as much as I should. I have
kind of a big workload, so getting in to use resources is kind of harder for me, but I would say they're pretty available.
Awesome, awesome. How likely are you to recommend these resources to peers on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being not very likely and 5 being very likely.
I would say like a 4. I haven't used them much, but I've heard good things. And I've seen good things happen with them. So,
Awesome. Have you lived on campus your entire time being at AAU?
yes, I have.
Describe your experience here in the residence hall.
The residence halls originally with the suite style living as a freshman was very like enticing for me. It was one reason why I did come here. And I did enjoy that style of living, and I still have. I mean, obviously I returned as an RA, so I'm enjoying the residence halls here. I think they're maintained pretty well, and that like people are pretty open to helping you maintain them better. So
How could the on-campus living environment be improved?
I think that it could really just be improved by like work from residents, life staff such as myself to like build community further. For my part of it, I do game and movie nights every week to build community within my hall. And I think that's really helped, and I think more halls could benefit from that. So
Awesome. Overall, how would you rate your experience at EOD?
on a scale of just in
On a scale of 1 to 5, I apologize.
I rated a 4. I've enjoyed it here. I take a heavy course load, so it gets stressful at times, but overall, I have support. So
What improvements would you like to see in EOU as a whole?
I think having like sessions with students to get their feedback on different aspects such as res life, dining, all these different things that we're talking about would be extremely beneficial.
Awesome. As we begin to wrap this interview up, is there any questions that you have for me?
No.
Okay. I would just like to remind you that the goal of this interview was to provide EOU's president and administration with information on what it's like to be a student here at EOU. And this interview was recorded. Thank you for your time, and you were very helpful today.
Thank you both. So as we wrap up today, we have a few general comments on interviews, and also want to make sure you all are on the same page about what things will look like as we move forward in the term. So kind of a through line I noticed throughout these different interview presentations in class is that you all did a really good job here of being able to try to really tease out and engage with stories, right? So as we transition into an employment interview, right, you all will have a lot of flexibility about the kind of job you'd be applying for, the kind of questions you'd be giving. And one of the things that really helps candidates stand out, right, is the opportunity to share your story, share your experience, share your background. That's things that people remember. And that's something we really saw in these survey interviews too, right? People are coming in, they're offering their perspectives, their lived experience, their background, and they're doing so in a way that really helps us to learn really rich information, right? For example, talking about how some of the activities on campus would benefit from being like a specific club that's receiving support and funding and competition, or talking about kind of what brought somebody to you from a different location, talking about the challenges of dealing with turnover and coaching and navigating that, like the specific experiences that you're able to tease out from survey interviews. Those are things that people who are asking you to complete surveys are going to really want, right? That specific experience and information that can really be used, right? So whenever you find yourself in a survey interview, you should be thinking to yourself, well, how do I get information that an employer, or if I'm a researcher, how am I getting information that I can really use and put somewhere? Because I think framing interviews in that way, as you all have been doing, is really effective. And I thought this was a really good and strong set of interviews. So starting in the first pair, with Kate Shade, I thought that you both did a really good job of integrating follow-up questions that were relevant and presented clearly. I really liked how you both were able to to kind of talk about your experiences at UMU effectively. Again, like talking about cheer and dance, talking about the experiences of navigating at UMU, and reasons for coming here were presented really well. A couple things to think about here. One thing is one really easy trap to fall into is to kind of do a fishing response, right? So for instance, you say, it seems like it's the sense of community, right? And rather than presenting it in that way, one more open-ended way to present that is, would you say the sense of community is something you're looking for, right? Because one thing that happens in interviews that I've also noticed is when I'm presenting a statement to somebody, they're much more willing to say yes, even if it's not totally aligned with their thoughts, right? So you want to be careful that their own biases in interviewer is not like shaping the response that you're getting. But I thought your follow-ups were really good. I thought on both ends there was really good clarification in response to questions. So moving on to the second partnership, I really appreciated how both of you were again offering clarity on scale questions, talking about kind of the coaching experience and like going down that line of questioning was really effective. I also really liked how you all were able to use the combination of closed and open-ended questions. One thing to think about in both of these interviews is just question sequencing, right? So, for instance, there was a question here about, like in the first interview, right? Brock was making a couple points about previous college experience, and then there was a question asked later, do you have previous college experience? So one thing you might do is, if there's a response that you know already answers the question, you might jump ahead and ask a follow-up related to that. You just want to be a little bit cautious that you're not presenting questions that have already been answered at other points. That's just a way to show you're kind of listening and engagement in that process. But I did think both of you did a good job of questions you presented. You might think about just where you're sequencing and bringing them why. So Blake and Kayla, I thought you both did a really good job of establishing good rapport, right? You showed really good relationship between both of each other in the interview. You're using like a response, like it's kind of funny, like, oh yeah, same, I'd give it a 3-2. Like that shows like your level of interest in your experiences too, can help people to open up a lot. I also really liked the clarity of the questions and also the line of questions you all had. For example, kind of starting by asking, well, are you aware of some of the resources we have here? And what are the resources that you find yourself using the most? That's a good line of questions to use. One thing to be maybe a little bit cautious of, Kayla, is I felt like a couple of your questions were diverging a little bit from the focus of the interview. For example, asking about the experience working at Domino's. Like I can understand that being part of the overall experience, but I do think you want to make sure you bring the question back to that, right? And back to the overall focus. Because it can be easy as we're gathering information in the interview, but a little bit divergent topic. Overall, though, I thought you all both did a really good job in explaining and using these questions effectively. So thank you all for doing this survey interview set. I hope you all both learned through the process of giving and doing the interviews, but also of observing these interviews, not only fundamental skills of interviewing, but also ways that we use survey interviews effectively to gather information. We do that a lot in our lives. So by the end of the day today, I will be posting the presentation schedule for the employment interviews, all for that assignment. We'll take some time this week to prepare for that one. Again, those will start on May 12th. So it'll be a chance for you to work with your partner. We'll both get to figure out a place of employment or the type of job or internship that you are interested in applying for. You'll get to create a set of questions to really prepare for that. So it's not only a good chance to do interviewing this class, but also helps you to think about and prepare for whatever might come next in your life. So I look forward to us pivoting in that direction. Thank you all for your engagement. Feel free to email or pass down to me your attendance for the day. Have a great rest of your morning, and I will see you again on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed. You guys get the bench? No, 45 minutes. 35.
And then for the other 10,
Yeah, same. We did the exact same thing.
then we did 45.
We did the exact same thing.
I failed on my last, on like last of the first date. I think it was.
No, but-
Nope.